Good morning, I'm Rob, this is Nicky, my wife.
Hello.
This is Prairie Garden, Wales, and something we've wanted to do for quite a while now is to do videos of testimonies, just life stories that people have been through. And so the first culprit is my wife, Nicky.
Oh, thank you.
And so we're just going to really talk about Nicky's journey, Nicky's stories. It's a story that's always inspired me, and I just really want to see that out there and that story. Just to inspire women out there. I know there's many women that have been touched by a story along the route, and so we just really want to have this chat, don't we? An informal chat.
Yeah.
And just help people understand a bit of your story and hopefully get some of what God's done in your life as we've gone on that journey.
Yes.
And so let's start right at the beginning. In fact, let's go back before the beginning. So
Yeah.
I know that the way you came into the world, the way you was conceived, although you've been adopted, which you'll share, is a little bit vague. So for the information you've got, go back 9 months before you came into the world? How did that unfold?
Yeah, so as you shared that I was not adopted at 9 months, but before that I know of from records was that my real mother was waiting at a bus stop. She was on her way to a party, and she got picked up by this Greek guy, and didn't end up at the party. Unfortunately, she was raped, which obviously was quite devastating news for myself when finding out. Again, not sure, because she was Irish Catholic, so not many, I don't know, people know. A lot of shame back then. Obviously they don't believe in the abortion pill or abortion, and don't believe in the pill, so there was a lot of shame behind. Family were not very supportive that I know of, but she fought quite hard to keep me. I know that. I felt that from the records that I read. So she was in Ilford, so Barkingside. I was born over in Barkingside. I was over that way. That I know of, she tried to keep hold of me. She had a very supportive nan back there. But her mum wasn't very supportive. Her family weren't very supportive, because obviously they looked at me and saw shame. Sure. And obviously, it was probably a very difficult time for her. So I really had an understanding of what she was going through. Yeah. But you could tell that she didn't want to give me up, because I was 9 months before I was given up for adoption. So she kept holding me for quite a while. But it must have been quite hard. I know that the family, and in the 70s as well, it was very much this back in the 70s. It was quite a while ago, and I think the whole family from Ireland came over. So she lived. It wasn't just her and her mum. It was her and mum, her sisters. I think aunts and uncles were there. And I know that there's a story that there was some element of abuse towards you, not from your mum, but from other members of the family, wasn't there? Yeah. So I got a mark that I had, and I asked questions when I was adopted. I asked questions of where that come from. It was and it was apparently that when I was left, when my mother had left me under the care of her family, one of the family members burnt me with an iron. So there were signs of abuse there. Again, they didn't know how to feed me, how to look after me, as some of the family members, and I think they looked at me with shame. And I know that some of you've shared sort of in the years we've been married that wasn't the only scar. There's a lot of internal scars, wasn't there? And I know we sometimes can carry a spirit of rejection with us for years, and so there you are coming into the world. In a shameful way, and not from you. I'm just saying from the world's perspective that you came out of this negative situation, and then you was given up. And so I remember you carried that a lot, and then so your adoption was an illegal adoption initially, wasn't it? Yes. Yeah, so basically what happened was, it was a friend of a friend that knew my real mother, worked over in West Ham. Well, she came from West Ham, which was the people that have finally adopted me. So there was some element of new
connection in the family somewhere.
So my adopted mother knew my real mother through work and through friends. So she found out that my real mother found out that my adopted mother was looking to adopt. But they did go down the wrong route. They got involved with a solicitor, but they didn't involve social services. They weren't involved at the beginning. So it was all like, they did it all wrong. So although I was given up, and it was all sort of legal in the sense of credited with like solicitors, it wasn't. I wasn't officially adopted until I was 4.
Right. Yeah.
So, but and
what was the reason for that? It was to do with your mum's signature, wasn't it?
So basically, when I was given up for adoption, initially at 9 months, it was done in stages.
Right. Yeah.
So I wasn't given up, and then I never saw that I know of. This is what going back and looking at my records. I wasn't given up, sort of like, and that's it. I didn't see my mother, but it got to a point where social services were involved in investigations, obviously making sure both parties were happy. When it came down to the official, my real mother, signing the papers, no one could find her. She disappeared.
Right, yeah.
So legally, back then, I don't know if it's changed now, but legally back then, they had to wait 2 years.
Right, yep.
Before I could be officially adopted by court and everything. So that was why, I think she disappeared, and this is going by heart. This is going on my heart, that I think the reason why is because she didn't really want to give me up.
Oh yeah, I can imagine that.
And that's what I held on to, is that, she probably didn't want to, but obviously I was officially adopted at 4.
I do believe, when you tell your story, how God had his hand on your life even back then.
Yes.
And he goes before he says in is it Psalm 139, before I formed you I knew you, and he talks about forming you in the mother's womb and all that stuff, and then there you are, you get adopted into a Christian family where your mum was Christian, wasn't she? Your dad wasn't at that time, I remember, but you get adopted into this family that then you go on this journey where you eventually come to faith. We'll come back to that. But so going into your, just give us, there's so much in your story. We might have to do this in 2 parts anyway.
Yes, we may
There's so much to it. But so in your junior school, I know you grew up through most of that early part of your life in Tilbury.
I did.
Which ironically, I grew up in Stamford Hope.
You did.
So you was only a couple of miles down the road.
Yes.
And then your family moved to Rayleigh.
Yes,
and my family left Stamford Hope, moved to Rayleigh, and then you left home and moved to Southend.
Yes.
I left home, so we followed this journey together, but never meeting.
Yes.
So you can see the fingerprints of God throughout our lives. I truly believe that.
Absolutely.
But just give us an overview of your I suppose your infant school. It's all changed names now.
Yes.
So your child's school up to the age of 10 before you went to senior school.
Yeah. Well, so when I was over in Tilbury, I didn't really have too much of a problem on. So being back when I was younger, being from a mixed race, I was half Irish, half Greek. So being mixed race, I was quite a dark. You wouldn't believe it now because I've gone quite lighter now. But back then, I was very dark. So I was like mixed race. But back when I was in Tilbury, I didn't seem to have that problem. But as soon as I moved to Rayleigh, I was literally the only mixed race person in the whole.
Rayleigh was very. Tilbury was quite a rough area, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As it was Stamford Hope, but Rayleigh was very much a sort of your middle upper class.
Yes, I did feel quite out of place in Rayleigh. So I not only was I coming into a new school, trying to make new friends. I was always, I always struggled as a child because I didn't sleep very well. bless my parents. They lovely parents. They really wanted to adopt another child, but I because they had such difficulty with me, and I'm not saying I was that bad, but I didn't sleep very well. I was quite demanding.
Do you think that's to do with that spirit of rejection?
Looking back, I think it was. Yeah, I think looking back, I think it was more that I was,
because they say that age from 0 to 3 is so crucial.
Yes, yeah.
And then you was officially adopted at what age?
4.
So that whole beginning part was quite shame and rejection and abuse and all that other stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean, my adopted parents, they loved me to bits, you know, and bless them, you know, they were old school, and yeah, you know, discipline could have been, it was a bit harsh, you know, but to be fair, I'd never go against them, because they were lovely parents. They loved me to bits, but I was troubled, and there were many photos of me back when, even before I was 7, that I didn't look happy.
No, I always said in your early childhood photos, you always look miserable. You never had that joy in your face.
No smile. I struggled to make friends, but it became relevant, or became more so when I went to Rayleigh, when I went to my first school back in Rayleigh.
Love Lane, isn't it?
Yeah, it was in Love Lane. Lane, yeah. Good old Love Lane. Yeah. But yeah, not great memories, unfortunately. But
it doesn't really match the name.
No, it didn't go with the name, unfortunately.
And what was the reason for that? Why didn't it really?
So I didn't connect with the people, mainly because I was mixed race, and people didn't like someone who was different.
No.
Some of the names were quite not very nice. I was called ugly, one of them. Yeah. I was told to go back to my own country, because they didn't think that I actually was born in this country, because I was mixed race.
Children can be harsh, can't
and they were not very nice. I'd bless my parents. My mum was very, very understanding, and she says, "Oh, that's." I mean, bless her. You know what she's like.
So graceful.
Oh, bless, dear. Oh, don't worry, dear. Don't worry, dear, and all of that. So she was like, she was all like, just forget what they're saying and all of that. But my dad, bless his heart, complete opposite, would turn around and says, proper EastEnder he was. Yeah. He said, well, if they're picking on you, you need to fight back and hit them hard. But of course, I'm a girl, and I'm like, but I'm a girl, I can't hit them. Anyway, I didn't go down that route straight away. I tried to be my mum's way and ignored them.
But your dad had a very hard upbringing as well, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he lost his dad when he was 7, and he was the youngest of 9. My mum had to bring all 9 children up on her own.
She was quite harsh as well, wasn't she?
She was quite hard. Yeah, bless her. I mean, I used to call her, when I was younger, I used to call her Nanny Doggy, because she always used to have a dog for some reason. But out of my mum's parents and my dad's parents, my mum's parents accepted me, but my dad's parents didn't, because I was adopted, and I wasn't, even though I was at Allen back then, I was not flesh and blood, so that she didn't really accept me. So she was quite a hard person. She was kind to me. She wasn't horrible to me, but she was quite. So I can understand my dad's sort of harshness. He, I mean, at the age of 8 or 9, it was quite. You know, he grew up in Romford. It was quite. I
remember he would start smoking at the age of like 10 or something.
He was at 10. He'd been smoking at 10, and he used. And it wouldn't faze him on having a pocket knife in his pocket, you know, and all of that sort of thing. Back then, it was totally different.
So there you got this upbringing, and I know from meeting your parents that I know there was that harshness there, but your dad was one of these people. If you rang him at 3 a.m, come on, I'll go and pick you up, and he'd always be there.
He would always be there. He had a car. We didn't, as I became a teenager, we clashed.
Yeah, let's talk about your. Yeah. So, before you get to teenagers, you're going to senior school, and we went to Fitzweimark, the same school, didn't we? But we were in different years.
Yeah.
But same school, yet still again never met.
Yes.
And but same teachers we had, and all that stuff.
We was in Colston's.
Yeah, Colston. Yeah, in Fitzweimark in Rayleigh, if anyone watching.
Yeah.
And so there we were in, and you had some great teachers, and Mr. Dew, if you're watching, Mr. Dew.
Yeah.
And, I know he was very supportive, because again that trauma was still carrying on, wasn't it? And I know there were certain stories that you've told me. If this is in the wrong order, but the one about the tent, was that senior school?
That was juniors. So
let's jump back to we're just going to jump back to juniors. So as part of this battle with your parents, your adoptive parents, you left home, didn't you?
Yeah. So
tell us how old you were and what happened. That, because I love this story, not because of the fact she left home.
No.
But it's just such a cute rebellion, if I can word it like that.
So I was told I was adopted at quite an early age, and as for most adopted children, they want to know who their real mother is and their backgrounds. So that's sort of the background behind of why I ran away from home as such. But I also I was trying to be accepted with the people at the church. Sorry, not the church. The school that I was at, Love Lane, and I'd made a couple of friends, and weirdly enough, the friends that I'd made were the ones that were being picked on as well. So it was like we was all like close knit. I had a dear friend, and she won't mind me saying this, dear Cindy. Cindy was one of my dear friends. Another dear friend was Christine. So I had a few friends that used to get picked on at school, and I used to be. So one of the friends was called Jimmy. He lived down the road from me.
Right, yeah.
And we were just friends. We weren't nothing else but
How
friends.
old was you then?
Well, so I was probably about 9, and he was around the same sort of age. He literally lived down about 5-6 doors down from me, and we had this. I told him about the story about I was adopted and wanted to go and find my mum. And we had this weird thing that my parents, I don't know where I'd got it from, to be honest. My parents bought me this Ninja Turtle tent. And I had this thing about camping out. So I said to Jimmy, let's go. And this is quite far for a 9-year-old, but it wasn't that far. In the scale of where it was from my house, and you'll probably know where it was. You know the industrial estate where I lived in. I lived in Rayleigh, Essex. So there was an industrial estate, but you had to cross two sort of. It was on this side of the A127. But anyway, we went into this woods and we camped out, thinking we'd gone quite a long way, but we literally only had
quarter of a mile.
It was about a quarter of a mile, but for a 9-year-old, it seemed a long way. We had our backpacks on and. And we went down there. We didn't tell our parents. They just thought we was out playing. Then it so that's how that happened. And obviously with this Jimmy and all that, and we was camping out, put the tent up in this Ninja Turtle, and it started getting dark, and he started getting a bit scared. And I was like, well, I can't go home now because I've been out for too long, and I'm going to get told off when I get home. So. In the end, it sounds like our parents got the police involved, and they came and found us. And we was in this tent on the A127.
And that wasn't the first time you ran away with Jimmy, was it? You didn't. You got banned from seeing him after a while, didn't you?
The third time we ran away together. The third time was we had this the hunch of bear in mind, we thought this was quite a while. Castle Road, which is literally down the road from where we lived, there was the tip, Rayleigh Tip. And behind the Rayleigh Tip, there was these lovely big trees. And we decided that we'd climb up and we'd camp out in one of these trees. But when it started getting dark, he started getting, like Jimmy started getting a bit nervous and wanted to go home, but I couldn't get down. So in the end, the police and the fire brigade had to rescue me from this.
Yeah.
So at that last point, I was actually banned from seeing Jimmy again. That really sort of hit me hard, because he was a good friend to have around. Like, wasn't a boyfriend, but just a friend who accepted me. In fact, you know, he at first he used to call me names, but he started liking me because I wasn't the person that he used to call names with and everything. So that hit me hard when I was banned. But it also shook me up, because my parents said that social services had to be involved, and the social services said to my parents that if I run away again, then I'd be put into care. I think it shook me up, and I came to a realisation I wasn't going to go and find my mother, my real mother, that is, at that point. So
let's just jump forward a bit now. So you go through senior school. Which I know you struggled a bit with senior school, didn't you, with friends?
So a lot of the people from the juniors went up to seniors. So unfortunately, all the bullying continued, because a lot of the children from the juniors went up to seniors and used to say to the other people there, "Don't go near her because she's different," you know. So that I didn't have any friends really, but the closest friends I had was people like Cindy and Christine, who came up with me and came into the seniors. And because they used to get picked on, we all used to just hang around together. But it was a tough time because I struggled a lot with my parents. I think hormones start to kick in. With girls, they tend to kick in a little bit earlier than boys. So hormones probably didn't play a great deal of part. And then I clashed a lot with my dad at home as I became a teenager.
And so all that time, so what age, I know you had a journey through the church as well, so you wasn't necessarily a Christian at that point. You hadn't given your life, had you? But there's a bit of a journey to that, because you tell us about that journey through the church. And the church was very different back then, wasn't it?
It was,
we have churches now.
So when we was over in Tilbury, my mum always used to take me to church. My dad would come along occasionally, but he'd have his earphones on.
His football on, didn't he?
He liked to look at the end of the embarrassing thing is when his team would score, he'd go, "Yay!" and everyone look round. Who was that? But anyway, blessed his heart. So anyways, so my mum and my nan, my mum's mum, used to take me to church and stuff. So when we came to Rayleigh, we continued going along to church. I started up at Sunday school, up Rayleigh Baptist Church is where we went to. So I grew up in that, and to be honest, I just loved church. It was a lovely environment. You felt loved, you felt wanted there, and it felt accepted. But I never really understood. I came to the age of 13. They were doing lots of youth work back then. So when I was 13, they had a lot of youth events going on, and at one of those events, a group called New Beginnings.
Have you still got this?
I have still got this. This is New Beginnings. Yeah. So they signed the back of it. You probably won't be able to see that.
Yeah, look, let's just see if I can post it right close. Look. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
They're probably out there somewhere now. They're probably a bit older than that.
Yeah. Now. So a brilliant. I mean, when I listen to it now, I think, did I ever listen to that particular? But we're talking like in the early 80s now. So 13, these guys came down to the church at Rayleigh Baptist Church and played. And at the end, there was an altar call, and loads of these young people, including myself, went forward and gave my life to Christ.
Brilliant.
It was just an amazing experience. But the challenge that we had at Rayleigh Baptist Church is they were very much certainly from what I understand now, they were certainly more law abiding. It was all about keeping the Ten Commandments, and it was like if you did anything bad, you'd felt bad, and
just to clarify, the church, obviously, the church. Radio Baptist has changed a lot.
Since yes, it changed a lot. Back then, it was they didn't really help the youth. There was no real youth sort of after you gave your life to Christ. There wasn't.
I think a lot of churches were like that back then. You had the youth work up to a certain age.
Yes.
And then they didn't really know what to do with these.
It's certainly from 16
children
onwards,
who are going through puberty and in transition. What do we do with them? A lot of them fall away.
Yeah.
And they get lost, but
so it was. I mean, I found it was an exciting time, that was, and New Beginnings wasn't the first time they came. They come several times after that, and it was a great time,
a great ministry.
We as a group of young people, and I'm still in contact with some of those young people from when I gave my life to Christ. In fact, we're friends with them on Facebook. You know? So it was a good time back then, but like you say, there was not really, there was no nurturing after. They didn't know what to do with us young people back then as much as they do now.
I think so. Also, some of the the next part of your life is when you start going into adulthood.
Yes,
and you leave school. And then you went on this journey where there was a lot of domestic abuse involved, but there was one part of abuse that actually happened within the church, wasn't it? So, in a relationship in there, and as you sort of take us into this, it's quite. Would you still connect that to the very early part of your life and? Would you say it's grounded in a church, or do you think you were still carrying this spirit of rejection and shame from the beginning?
I personally think it's probably a bit of both, but I also something I haven't shared, and I so much going around in my head, but something I didn't share was that if you remember rightly, I shared that my dad sort of got me to wanting to fight and all that, which I did go down that avenue sort of later on in the juniors. It didn't make me any popular than
you're punching people.
No. And people look at me now and they think, you fighting, getting angry, because I'm not the most laid back person now. I don't really get angry. But anyway, so that unfortunately sort of embedded in me, and I became quite an angry person. But even though I'd found Christ, I struggled with anger, and I don't know whether that was from the past where I'd been struggling all them years with being rejected at school, called names, or whether it was a rebellious against me dad, because he was trying to obviously gear me on the right track, and I didn't want to go the right track. I wanted to go my track, sort of thing. So it could be just that, just having that rejection from early years. So I just think that I was just really angry from probably the age of 13 all the way until about 18. I struggled with anger quite a bit during that time, if not maybe a little bit further. So you're right. I did. I met a young guy when I was probably about 14, 15 within the church. Shortly after I gave my life, I met him at my baptism, and he went along. He was a Christian. We got to know each other and we started dating. It's I've never had a boyfriend back then. Because a lot of the boys at school where I went, unfortunately, would bully me. They didn't like me because I was different. And so because it was my first boyfriend, I think I over-exaggerated him and probably suffocated him a bit, which in turn,
I think all teens do that to a certain level.
I mean, I was probably over obsessed with him, but I'm not trying to master what he did was right. But I probably pushed him a bit too far. But unfortunately, he became quite abusive towards me, and there was a time when I ran away from school, had time with him, and my dad found out, and he said, "You're never going to see that guy again." And at that point, I did a very silly thing and tried to commit suicide. But there was a.
In what way?
Well, my dad had banned me from seeing him, and obviously that really was devastation to me.
I mean, in what way about the suicide?
So basically, I got hold of 100 paracetamol and plenty of water, and I just took the whole lot. I didn't tell anyone. Then I went to school, and I don't know if you remember a lady called Mrs. Weeks. Yeah. Well, she was the head of year for me. At the year that I was in, I can't remember what year it was now. So I would have been 14. So probably year 5.
84. So second year seniors.
Yeah. So anyway, so she, I was due to see her, and I was wandering the corridor, and she said, "What's up?" Because she could see I was upset.
Yeah.
And we're talking 3 hours after I'd taken the tablets. I'd gone to school, and I broke down in front of her anyway and told her what had happened, and she called an ambulance and got me to the hospital. But they said that there was a chance that I could have severe damaged kidneys. Thank the Lord I didn't.
Amazing.
And I made a full recovery from that, but it could have been devastation. So from then onwards, I had fractured relationship with my dad a little bit because of because of that situation. They didn't know how to deal with me. And so I think because of that, my relationship with certainly my dad became quite fractured. And I became a lot more angrier. Things that I would do at home that I'm not proud of, like smash the house up, and I know I know my dad often jokes about this.
He did.
And one of the things that he used to tell you when we was dating,
it was one of the first things he told me about you.
Yeah.
My daughter took 8 policemen.
8 policemen, because I was so angry. I mean, I laugh about it now because it is laughable, but back then, obviously, I wasn't laughing about it.
It was quite traumatic for your parents.
It was traumatic for my parents. It was traumatic for me. I'd lost my temper. They didn't want me to see this young guy because he wasn't very nice to me, and also he was bad influence on me. And so I used to just rebel, and that was my angry stage. And during that, my parents not only got me arrested because of that, and put in a cell for a few hours. That will teach you. But they also got to the stage where they could see that my mental health was struggling, and so they put me into a mental hospital for a period of time. I can't remember exactly how long it was. It was for me, because I was probably around, I don't know, 15 at the time. It seemed a long time because
I can imagine.
Back then, Runwell Hospital was predominantly adult mental health hospital, which was mixed, so it was men and women in there. So I was one of the youngest, being 15, being sectioned in this hospital. Well, actually, they say sectioned. I freely went, but my parents, because being under the age of 16, they sort of made that decision for me, you know. That was probably one of the most dramatic times that I'd had, because it wasn't a pleasant time. I used to lay in the bed there in this mental hospital, and hearing some of the sounds.
Oh, I can imagine.
Horrifying.
I can only imagine.
it was a very scary time. In fact, one time I came out of the ward and someone had killed themselves and was dead in front of me. That image, took years of taking that image out of my mind. But I was appointed this particular psychiatric nurse, and she was the one that helped me. I'll say her name because I don't even know if she'll still be alive now, actually, because she was an older woman called Sue Porter. But I've still somewhere, because I love to keep things, somewhere I've got her phone number on a card. And she always used to say to me, whatever you're going through, you can call this number.
Amazing person to encounter in your life.
Sue Porter, never forget her. She was absolutely lovely and got me through some of the hardest stuff during my teenage years and stuff.
And so you've given your life at this New Beginnings, and then,
yes,
and now you get to a stage where you leave school.
Yes,
but that journey walking with God, then, well, it wasn't actually walking with God, but it was more like I say, it was a religion as opposed to.
Yeah, it was going to church.
Well, going to church rather. So so you go into adulthood, and then you start going into adult relationships.
Yes,
and you're still not completely healed at this point, are you? From the damage of the past. So how does that take us into adulthood and the relationships?
Yeah.
And then what we'll try and do is we're on 37 minutes, so we're going to, if we try and we take through the adult relationships, and then I know there was a significant encounter with God. We'll get up to that point,
right? Yeah.
And when things start to change for you, and then we'll do a second video, which really sort of shows you how God really.
Yes. Yeah. So as you shared, obviously that was my first encounter with some an abusive relationship. Even though he was a Christian at a church, it still didn't end very well. So from there, I met I worked at a wimpy place. I met this guy through working at this. He was actually one of the customers. He asked me out. At that point, I was in and out of church. He knew that I went to church. Personally, at that point, I struggled being called a Christian because of some of the things that. Because I think it was that anger. I still was quite going through a bit of a rebellious time and stuff. So I struggled with being associated as a Christian back then. But he knew that I went to church. I still went to church. I still tried to make that effort of being good, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So I met this guy. Our relationship seemed to take off. He actually got me into heavy metal and being a biker chick, as they say. And sort of probably about a year into our relationship, I found out I was pregnant. And that's when it all sort of went a bit pear-shaped. And although he wasn't physically abusive to me whatsoever, he was emotionally abusive to me. He was mentally abusive to me. He basically gave me an ultimatum. No, ultimatum. Yeah, that's the word. He said, basically, he wasn't ready to become a dad. So he wanted me to have an abortion. And something I didn't share previous was I fell pregnant when I was 16, and I think I've shared with you that I was taken. I was made to have an abortion at the age of 16, which wasn't a pleasant experience. And I said to myself that I would never ever go through that again. Unless it was in dire need that I had to. But when he gave me that ultimatum to either have the abortion or he's going to leave me, I went with, I'm keeping it, and he left.
Yeah.
But he wasn't particularly very nice. The good thing is his mum was very nice to me, and she was quite supportive.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Which was good, because she actually liked the idea of becoming the nan, and so they, his parents were very supportive. But obviously, it made it quite difficult because he wasn't.
Yeah.
I tried, but I think it was more the emotional abuse. So I basically went through the pregnancy on my own. My parents came round to the idea of being grandparents as well, and they were quite supportive with that.
Yeah.
But it was a difficult time because I was thinking, well, I'm going to raise this baby on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And unfortunately, the church didn't, although, you know, they love me, they didn't seem to want to accept that I was pregnant under wedlock.
It comes back to that whole
law,
legalistic.
So it became I didn't get much support from the church, unfortunately, back then as well.
So how did that fold out into your next relationship?
Yeah, so I'd had my son. His dad was off the scene, and and so I started raising him, and then met sort of about 18 months down the line. I met this other guy through that I met through a nightclub, and he promised me the world and all of that sort of thing. And yeah, but probably not the right world that he wanted me to. He was a bit of a Jack the Lad. I think, again, I was still in that rebellious stage. Towards life. I still had that anger a bit about me, and I also suffered quite a bit with postnatal depression. Which probably didn't help my situation with probably meeting anyone, because I was still quite vulnerable. I was still not getting over some of the stuff that I'd gone through. Not fully anyway, and not going through where I should be healed, you know, and all that. So when I met him, he was quite sort of I don't know, full on. He was a bit of a drinker. And when he drank, he got angry, and that's probably, I should have realised that I should have come away. But my vulnerability and naivety, I kept on, and I thought, oh, he'll be all right. He's just having a bad day. Like they've all said to me in the past, oh, I'm sorry, I promise you I will never do that again, and all of that. So it was hard, because I thought, well, I don't have too much back then luck. Obviously, I didn't really know that the Lord.
No, it's not luck.
No, it's not luck. It's being blessed. But so I just felt that you know, life was just a struggle back for me. So he, out of all the abuse, I would say he put me through quite bad. He would, the things that he would do to me is not very. I mean, I've shared. I know
there's some of the things you shared with me which you'd struggle to put in a book. Do you know what I mean? Quite frankly, just
he was
inhumane.
He did things to me that I wouldn't want, well, your worst enemy to go through. So that left some pretty harsh scars on me. So not only that, he did it to my son, and I also lost.
That's sometimes worse than it being done to you as a parent, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You carry that guilt. You can carry that guilt for years.
Yes.
The fact it happened to your children rather than just yourself.
And the worst thing is I didn't know at the time that it was that it was happening to my son. At the time, and just the fact that, you know, I came home from the doctors after having a checkup because I was pregnant with a child, and he was lying at the bottom of the stairs. My son was, and screaming his head off, and my husband, he was my husband at then said to me that, oh, he fell down the stairs, but that wasn't what my son told me when I got into school. So it was things like that that highlighted, and obviously by then I was married to him and I was carrying his child.
Yeah.
Even I should have, alarm bells should have been when before we got married, I was pregnant with his child, and because I wouldn't give him some insurance money that he wanted to use for one of his hair-raising sort of ideas that he wanted to do, he decided to throw me across the room, and I ended up losing the baby that I was carrying. So just things like that. But when I was laying in the hospital, he was absolutely weeping and saying, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again." And I should have realised back then that when he said that I should have said no. But I wasn't strong enough. That's the problem. I was at my weakest, and he knew that. So I ended up saying, and he asked me to marry him, and we was married within 4 weeks of me coming out of the hospital. And I should never have done that.
Yeah.
But obviously, in hindsight, now I'm that much stronger.
How did that come to an end?
So basically, the relationship came to an end when I came home from, I had a checkup at the doctor's, and I came home, and our son, the son that we'd had together, had a cut lip.
Yeah.
And that was the last straw, because I knew that he didn't receive that by, I mean, you're talking a 3-month-old baby.
Yeah.
How did a 3-month-old baby get a cut lip?
Yeah.
That I know of, that he admitted that he'd left the baby on a rocking chair, and the baby had fallen off. But you don't leave a 3-month-old baby on a rocking chair. Anyway, so we had a big argument and he started smashing the house up, and I'd had enough, because it was enough was enough. And I called the police. The police removed him, and that was it. He didn't come back after that, and we parted our ways. It wasn't a pleasant parting. He didn't leave it at that. He was quite abusive after that. But even with restraining order on him, he still wasn't.
No, they don't work. They
don't work. But I did have supportive parents.
Yeah.
And I moved back towards my parents' house at that point. Okay. So that's how I got out of that, through police removing him, and me having to sort of pick up the pieces after what damage he'd done.
Yeah, and so it just shows you that the importance of walking with God and just having a relationship. We'll talk about it soon, but about relationship with God, and it's a big difference between just going to church and having a relationship, and being led by the Holy Spirit. When we give our lives to Christ, we receive the Holy Spirit if we actually are born again, and then we get led by the Spirit. And so after that relationship, you go on to another relationship, which you're still not being led by the Spirit at this point, are you?
No. So although I'm going along to church, I'm still under Rayleigh Baptist Church at this point. When I go back to Rayleigh and live there, so I was living in Wakerin at that point. So I went back to Rayleigh Baptist Church, still going along to church, doing church stuff, but. I felt quite, I mean, they would come and cover me in prayer. They would pray for me, but I still didn't feel like that deliverance that I really needed back then. I think I still held on to a lot of anger and resentment, and I needed a lot of healing. So I did struggle, but I wouldn't say that the church completely alienated me, but they were supportive. But maybe not enough for me to get freedom in Christ. The freedom that I have now. In it. So yes, I moved. I did go into what I call silly relationships, where things happen, like I would go out with these guys and they weren't particularly very nice guys and stuff, and I ended up obviously having another child by someone else. Still it was a bit of a mess. It was really a mess back then. I mean, I just looking back, I'd never regret having the children I had, because I mean they were a blessing. And to be honest, if I didn't, I know that there were times when I did commit suicide a few times when my kids were around, and that I regret big time. But looking back, I think it was just a cry for help. It wasn't like I wanted to leave them. I didn't feel worthy to be a parent at sometimes. But I wouldn't say that looking back, I wouldn't have wanted to have done that.
No.
It was just a cry for help. And I think that was, but I always remember calling out to God. I would always remember calling out to God, and I always sense that he wasn't far from me. He was even though I committed myself to the Lord at 13, I always felt there was something protecting me, because there were times when I could have died in some of that abuse, and I never did. So I do believe that God's hand was definitely on me. I took 100 tablets. There's no way that most people couldn't survive that. I mean, I left it 4 hours before I had my stomach pumped, so I could have had lasting damage. So I do believe God's hand was
absolutely 100%.
On me. I could, things that I went through, hemorrhaging, and some of the stuff that I went through, just horrific, and I shouldn't have survived from it. So I do believe God's hand was on me from start.
100%,
because he orchestrated everything, in the sense of how I left my real parent into my adopted parents, where they were Christians.
And they were Christians, and you've seen it.
So I do believe there was, I believe in guardian angels. I believe that that there are people out there that protect you. And the Lord's hands on you the whole time. In that. So I always was connecting with God. I just didn't have that relationship with him at that point. So some of the stuff that I went through, I couldn't be released. I felt I wasn't being released from. So I did go from one relationship to another, trying to find love in all the wrong places. Because really the only love that you need is from God.
Absolutely. And even when we first got married, we always said, when two people get married, the problem that people have is when they get married, I feel anyway, is that it's like you give each other, it's like me I give my heart to you. And you got this responsibility of holding my heart. And that's a huge burden to bear. And then you give me yours, and I have to look after yours. And we're fallen people. We're damaged. Everybody, we've all got baggage. We're all damaged in some way, shape, or form. And we've got the responsibility of holding someone's heart. And that's now, walking with faith, I feel like that's too big a burden to bear for me to ask you to look after that. So when we got married together, I remember us always saying that when I gave my life to Christ, I gave my heart to God. Lord, my heart, my life, everything within me, I give to you. And then when you come along, it's like, if you want my heart, you have to go and see God, because he's the one who's holding it. And the same with you, is that you give your heart to God, and then we're not holding each other's hearts, aren't responsible for that. As long as we keep our eyes fixed on God and we love the Lord, he's up there with both our hearts together, and he holds our hearts and he keeps them together and he protects them. And so just obviously we're coming up to time now where we want to start wrapping up, but but I want to get to that point where I remember there was a particular time where you got to that stage where you just had enough and you just fell down on your knees and you really cried out with God, which you've kind of shared a little bit about.
Yeah.
But just tell us about that, because that was like a real change in direction for your life from that point, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So after having numerous of abusive relationships from the time that I had my last child, my daughter, up until that time, I was in my late 30s. And I remember coming out of another abusive relationship, and I said, Lord, this is just ludicrous. I can't keep moving around. At that point,
how many times had you moved?
So basically, since my son was probably around 18 months, and he's now 35 now, so coming on 36. So back then, before he was 16, I'd moved 10 times.
10 times in about 14 years.
Yeah, so 10 times in 14 years, mainly just to get away from these abusive relationships that I'd been in. So this was the longest place I'd been in, a place in Great Wakering, which you know of, yeah. So I'd been there, that was the longest, and I came to the point, the last abusive relationship I was in before we got together and stuff. I turned around to God. I said, "That's it," and I cried and I fell down on my knees, and I felt the Lord say to me, very, very audible voice, "Stop running."
Yeah,
that's it. Stop running, and I just broke down. I broke down in tears. I said, "Lord, but I can't live like this any longer." And he said, "Just stop running and trust me. Trust me." He said, "Stop running and trust me." So, and at that point, I felt this overwhelming sense of his presence. I know that he obviously never leaves you or forsakes you. But when I now know that obviously he's always in you. That he never leaves you or forsakes you. Hence why I shared with you that I felt there was always someone protecting me over these certain things. So, when you
say his presence, you talk about love, or
I just felt an overwhelming sense,
comforting presence. Because people always think, "Oh, you feel God's presence." It's like I am here, and people say, "Oh, shaking." Because
it was like this warm feeling,
right? Yeah.
The weird thing is, really sad thing is I never knew what really love was meant to look like or feel like, because for a long while, although my parents, bless them, they loved me to bits, they weren't cuddly people, and that's not their fault. It's because that was their generation. And so I never really felt what love was meant to feel like. But all I can describe it at that point was it was like a warm, fuzzy feeling. I've watched numerous, and I've watched numerous of love stories and all that, and they all lovey-dovey and all of that. But it's that feeling of like, feel loved, feel fuzzy feeling. So that's how it felt. It felt like a real warmth and fuzzy feeling that I'd never felt before, and and a sense of peace as well, because I was obviously quite I wanted to pack up and go at that point, because I'd one last abusive relationship. I'd had enough, that this is it. Is this what men's going to be like? And also at that point, I did say, Lord, I've had enough of trying to search for love in the wrong places. I want whatever person you have out there for me, I'll give you my heart, which is what you said. About giving your heart. I gave my heart to him fully. And I said, you can place my heart with that right person. And that was I was probably about 37, 38, something like that.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And I threw myself into the Lord's work. I did. I just sort of followed my heart with him. I did things within the church that I stepped out in faith a bit in church. I did things. I connected. I just sort of come alive a bit more, and I felt different.
Probably that whole weight. It's almost like a baggage comes off when we give our lives
I also did the thing, and you probably know this, the Freedom in Christ course.
Yeah, very good course.
And
brilliant.
I did that. And weirdly, obviously, I started at SCF, and you had left the SCF, and
that's a journey.
So
we'll touch on that in the second bit.
Yeah, in the second bit we'll touch that. So I did Freedom of Christ. Highly recommend that for those searching freedom in some of the most In fact, I enjoyed it so much I did it twice. That was brilliant, and I had a lot of Anita came alongside me and did that with me, and it was just amazing. I felt that was a whole weight,
turning point for you.
A real turning point. So that was my turning point. Obviously, lots of healing for my kids as well. That was probably the hardest thing is looking back and seeing the damage that all of that. But I pray for them every day, and we pray for them. And
indeed.
So that
amazing. And just so we're gonna wrap up now, and we're going to do a second one, which really talks. We're going to take you on the journey, of healing into new life, because it is when we give our lives to the Lord, then we effectively die on the cross with Christ, and we are resurrected and reborn with Christ. We become a new creation.
Yes,
as we receive Christ in us, we receive that free gift of grace. But it takes a while for the mind. The Bible talks in Romans a lot about being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so we become a new creation, but it takes a while for our mind to catch up with the identity of who we are.
Yes.
And that was a new road for you after that, wasn't it? So we're in the second one, we're going to go through that. But I hope this would be about half an hour, but there was so much in it. So it's been an hour, but there's so much in it, your story, and it's so amazing. And I do thank you for your vulnerability in it and your openness in it, because I know it's not easy going back over that road again.
Can I just say that?
Yeah, of course.
Also, I want to leave it on the one scripture that really helped me.
Yes.
So the one scripture that really helped me through this, and obviously in the later part, and has helped my healing, is that for many years people would say to me, "Sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you."
Yeah.
Well, they do hurt.
Yes, true.
Names
Very
do hurt.
Damages.
And it was damaging. And I think you had statistics that so many...
they say that for every negative comment said to you, it takes 10 positive to outweigh it.
Yeah. So there was a lot of damage of bad names being spoken of me. But the one scripture that really helped me, helped me through that journey, certainly the later part, was 1 Samuel 16, verse 7, which says that people look on the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart.
That's right.
So I just want to end on that, because that will carry us through into the part 2.
That's right, and it is a heart condition, but so thank you. You do inspire me, you really do. And so thank you so much. So we hope you've enjoyed the story so far, and we're going to bring some incredible testimonies in the second half as well.
Yes.
Amazing testimonies, and God's done some really big miracles in our life, and your journey up to that point has been a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Like you say, being put into a Christian family.
Yeah.
How many abortions happen? And I've often heard the argument about people also always the one argument about abortion being made legal is the fact, what about people in a rape situation?
Yeah.
And that's how you come into the world. If that had been made the way, I wouldn't have you here now.
No, exactly.
And so I thank the Lord every day that you was protected from that.
Yeah.
And thank you again for telling the story. And we thank you so much. God bless you, and we hope to see you in the second half and hear the second half of this amazing journey with Nick. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Bye.